here live in Las Vegas at the CES Show 2025, and we're thrilled to chat with Louis Giagrande, the CMO of LG Electronics North America. From spearheading digital transformation to launching cutting-edge campaigns like Switch for Good and Live Beyond, Louis is at the forefront of innovation and marketing and consumer culture. So great to see you, Louis.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I imagine this is not your first CES.
No, I think it's in the 20s at this point.
Yeah. And how has it evolved over time?
Well, the reason for coming out here is definitely evolved. Like there was a point early on where this is where you'd showcase new products to retailers and media.
More of a trade show.
Yeah, it really was. And nowadays it's more of a place to bring ideas and people together. Most of our conversations, obviously, with our retail partners, even some media happened before we're out here. But this is just a place. Almost a celebration of what's coming on in the year ahead, and a lot of great meetings happen here because it's a place where we all converge. So, but you're also seeing we were mentioning this on the way over here, just a difference in who's has booths and who's demonstrating. I mean, automotive has become really big part of CES, but media it really has become a much broader thing. It almost shouldn't be called Consumer Electronics Show anymore.
Yeah, totally. And the timing of which, obviously, kicking off the year and all the change and all the innovation kind of bubbles up in the fourth quarter, and then everyone's ready to say, okay, we've turned the corner.
Yeah.
Here's what's next.
Yeah.
What's next for LG Electronics? Where are you focused on heading into 2025?
Yeah, so, if anyone had heard from a press conference, we've really been focusing on this evolution of LG moving from being, a hardware company into what we're calling a smart life solutions company. It's something that was, introduced a little over a year ago, and it's something that's going to be, part of our future vision for the next, 10 years. It's a very ambitious endeavor, but, we really have to, most companies have to start thinking beyond hardware anyway, if you're going to survive in this next
Just
wave.
because of it kind of becomes commoditized, the margins get squeezed, margins differentiate.
Yeah. And so, but where we have a really nice, starting point is just our product portfolio is really broad, right? So if you make really good products and you're touching so many parts of the home and the office and now mobility, you really have that foundation to build off of to start introducing how does this all work together? How does it become more of a solution, right? So I think the simplest way to say it is we have to go from being a good purchase to a great experience for the consumer.
Right. And of course, that requires different muscles as an organization. Obviously, if you're just a component company, you just have to, be good at manufacturing, supply chain, et cetera. This involves consumer experience, design, leveraging data, software development, et cetera. So how has LG evolved in that realm? And in that regard, what is the ultimate vision of being a smart life solutions company?
Yeah, so, it's really catering to a consumer. One of our mantras is like innovation for a better life. So how do we bring our innovation to make your life run smoother, be easier? They talk about the kitchen being zero labor. How do we start reducing the challenges or the work that has to happen in the home? But a lot of this is, it's interesting. We're talking about catering to consumers' needs. A lot of this is also proactively finding what they need before they know they need it. Right? Yeah, so that's where we're ultimately headed. But right now it's being able to cater to the most immediate needs and tie these all together in a way that makes sense. We've been talking about smart home for a while. It's not something that's new and groundbreaking. AI helps a lot, with just making it make sense. But why do these products need to talk together? How does it really benefit your life beyond, you're just alerting you when the laundry's done?
Right.
So
the set's been cumbersome.
Yeah.
And most people are not technically savvy. They're intimidated by it. Yeah. And I think that we thought voice was going to be the solve. Mm-hmm. I would argue voice was not out of the gate what we thought it would be. Yeah. But now with AI, you talk to ChatGPT, even you talk to Alexa and Siri, it's much better experience now. Is voice at the center of how you see the consumer interacting with the smart home?
Yeah, definitely. I think just, AI is at the center, just figuring out how they work together. So voice is is a huge part of this. It's we're sort of trying to look at AI a bit different. We're calling it affectionate intelligence instead of artificial intelligence, because we want it to be as natural as as AI can be.
Right.
So you're saying is voice at the center of it. It is in the sense of we want the conversation to be a real conversation with LG's products and infrastructure. So in that sense, yes, but yeah, there's a lot that goes on, behind the scenes. Voice is just the commands, and getting the products to execute the commands is the tricky part.
Yeah, of course. So, and of course, with the smart home interoperability, it's huge because not everyone's just going to own LG devices and appliances now.
Yeah, we all have to really start thinking about how to work together, and everyone's trying to stake a claim in this moving forward. But
Amazon, Apple, Google, you guys, Samsung, there's a lot of players in the space.
Yeah, and we'd almost be remiss if there was one winner, right? We need multiple winners to make this all work. People to work together. If it was just one. If it was just Google's platform that worked, that would be a mistake, right? Or if it was just Amazon. So making sure that there's that work, and LG has been really good with partnering with companies to try to find ways to work together.
So when it comes to your role as CMO, obviously a big part of your job is packaging all of these initiatives up into a story that consumers understand and care about. What are your thoughts on how LG is going to be positioned to the consumer as it moves away from just a components company to more of an ecosystem or, smart life solutions?
Yes. So a couple of years ago, when we started looking forward to what is our future vision, and this idea of being a smart life solutions company came forward as our goal. There was a realization that we hadn't done a good enough job speaking to what the brand stands for. Right?
Yeah.
We're definitely guilty of, here's the latest product, this is why the product's good, this is why it's good for you.
Unique benefits.
Yeah. And our brand was being communicated to consumers through our products. Thankfully, we make very good products, positive experiences, but the brand was meaning something different to if you're a gaming monitor owner or a $5,000 refrigerator owner or, an air purifier. So we made a conscious effort, in the trades. It was LG launches a new brand identity. I'd constantly say it's that would have been a mistake to do a new identity. What we did is make a commitment to tell the brand story, because if you're going to welcome LG into your home to be part of the solution, then you really need to know what the brand stands for and be closer to the brand than just a collection of products, right?
Sure.
So when we looked at it and sort of, really, so what's our DNA? What do we stand for? Obviously, we're the Life's Good company, and that's our slogan. But it's more of what we're seeing is like the DNA of that is this very sort of optimistic, positive approach to the challenges that the company was facing, but also in life in general. And that was a nice organic platform to build off of. And so now that you're asking, like, how do we sort of tell these stories and align it to a brand identity? 3 core values came out of this exercise of digging in and the sort of like rediscovering ourselves. One was, an uncompromising customer experience, which 10 years ago meant if the product broke, we fix it quickly and get it to you. Now it's like, how do we make the experience positive on a day-to-day basis? The second one, which I think is probably where we shine the most, is I call human-based innovation, which is we could do a lot of things. LG is a very creative, innovative company, but where they shine is making innovations that really have direct, real consumer benefits, right? So, could we make gadgets that you'd see in sci-fi movies? Of course, but I appreciate things where it's I'd love to use our dishwasher example because it's the least sexy example I could give, but I think it works well. Is we were hearing about what was the main pain points of dishwashers. It's loud when it's running and you can't be near it. You're raising the TV volume. It wasn't dry when you at the end of it. It took too long to wash. and that's what they, that was the innovation they focused on. Dishwashers, 1 hour wash and dry, and quiet operation, and and so at the end of the day, is it a groundbreaking innovation? Maybe, but it's what it really is answering what the consumers need,
Right.
And so I think that's why what makes it good as a marketer is we do have engineers who are looking at what the consumer's needs are, makes telling the story a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
Later on.
Another thing that consumers, I think, are increasingly in demand of is personalization.
Yeah.
And I know that's a big cornerstone of some of your approaches. You have this ThinkQ platform that really is about AI-driven features, and I know some of the features enable the consumer to understand how much food is left in the refrigerator, et cetera. Once we go to a world with AI agents, which we're quickly going towards, do you see a world where the appliances are actually doing the ordering for consumers, and the smart home then could be more of a smart home of agents that can make your life just more efficient in terms of how you spend your time?
I think that could be it. I think what we want to sort of make sure that what we're doing is giving consumers the options. Like there should be a sliding scale on what you want this smart home or this connected home to do. Right? And in some cases, people might want the most automation and hands-free thing as possible, and others might want really.
They might just want to lose
control. Yeah. Right. Or like we, part of one of our smart appliances is now, like, one of the first things we did is proactive customer care. Like we want the products to inform the consumers if the filter is getting clogged, like before it breaks, things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's, sort of your baseline, and then it builds off of improving experience. Yeah.
For sure. So in terms of the consumer and how they're finding about your product and the way that they're purchasing, what are some of the changes that you've seen in terms of their behaviors that are having you rethink the way that you try to capture their attention in 2025?
Yeah, you had brought up commoditization before, right? And so in one of our categories, TV, you're starting to see heavy commoditization of TV. It's and so shopping behaviors have changed so much because TVs used to be a very highly considered purchase.
Right.
I'm going to get a new TV. I'm going to put it in the living room. I'm going to move the living room TV to the bedroom.
Crazy.
Yeah, and now the antidote I often say is that you could go to Walmart to get some eggs and walk out with a 55-inch TV because it was $200, and you're like, oh, we got that third bedroom that I could just throw this in. And so not only is the cost dropping, but the dynamics that trickle down of get the latest TV for the main room, and then the older TVs go. Now you're getting like these cheap TVs you just throw in into the various rooms.
And even the cheap ones are 4K and they look amazing.
Yeah, like we do very well with our high-end OLEDs. We're the market leader in TVs, and but the volume that you're seeing is in the mid to low. So the behaviors have changed. We see now about 40% of consumers are spending less than a day researching a TV because of the price points. So we need to again, there's part of this shift is TV is hardware. We can't exist just by having the best hardware. So our WebOS system, we have 300 free channels now within our TV.
Like fast channels.
LG channels. You can just get your TV connected to the internet, and you have 300 channels. You're not paying for it. It's just part of the
ad supported.
Ad supported, and it's so you're seeing like our message needs to change for the mid to low end. It's not just the picture quality. Of course, that's always going to be there, but it's like, what else are we providing you beyond the TV, the hardware?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've been thinking for a while that the TV is just such a missed opportunity, because the same reason why Apple was so successful, because they had the last mile, they had their hardware in people's hands, and because of that, they were able to dictate the entire ecosystem. Having your TV in someone's home, you can really drive where their eyeballs go. You can drive but in order to do that and not have them switch to another input and deal with somebody else's interface, you have to be able to make great software that's easy to use and intuitive. Traditionally, companies that manufacture televisions have not done that.
Yeah, and you're also seeing now, I think last year is the first time more consumers are accessing, connected television through the TV's, system as opposed to Fire Sticks.
Yeah.
And so that is the trend that's going on. So we've had a head start in really focusing on it. I think our WebOS interface is very good, and it always tests well with reviewers. Reviewers, especially high tech reviewers, tend to be early adopters, so they might have been more familiar with some of the stick options early on. But we have a good interface. But
and consumers would rather not have to plug in a just turn it on. They don't want to spend more money switching the inputs and all that.
It's a little bit Wild West right now with all the different services. I think that'll also sort of converge a bit.
It confuses consumers too. They don't know where to find anything. Then especially you have the NFL showing games on Peacock and Amazon Prime, and they used to just turn on and watch the game. And now it's, for a lot of Americans, they don't really understand how to sort it all out.
I find it funny that there's actually services out there that people hired to tell them what subscriptions they have. Because they might have 2 subscriptions without realizing.
There's so many.
That's the point we've gotten to. We're going to outsource. What am I spending my money on?
What's the paradox of choice? And I think the best brands are ones that make consumers' lives easier. And they reduce choice. And I think, especially in the world of home entertainment, there's just too much choice. There's too much fragmentation. No one remembers their passwords to anything. And you're starting to see a lot of these streaming services have growth deteriorate, and they're getting a lot of churn because consumers just don't know how to access it, and it's too much for them to think about. Absolutely. So in terms of capturing consumers' attention based upon their new media consumption habits, where are you at relative to creating content, leveraging creators, especially with Gen Z, making sure that you can make your brand top of mind?
Well, so the content conversation is something we have all the time.
I'm sure.
Because just like what used to be your baseline asset kit has like tripled. Like if I'm selling a product now at Best Buy, what we would feel comfortable as our baseline asset kit for any product. And keep in mind, I got 1,400 product pages on my LG account. A lot of accessories, but hundreds of real products. Used to be all right with a few images, a video, and just the content needs. So the expectations of consumers, what we want to communicate to consumers. So we're really forced to get into this content factory mentality of pumping out sort of a real robust baseline asset kit. And so we've of course explored AI options, bringing in micro influencers to do videos not for their audience but for their ability to do efficient content for us and things like that.
The storytelling,
right? And just get a fresh perspective. I mean, it's we're very good at doing the professional product demo video, and then you see somebody with a phone do a product video, and you're like, that's just as good. And they did it probably like in 5 minutes. And that's what they're used to consuming,
right? They're on TikTok all day. They want to consume your product content the same way they're consuming all other content.
So I think that you're still growing in that phase, but it's again, it's a little overwhelming when you're thinking about all the content you got to create, and then it's all about differentiating, making sure you're clearly communicating. No one's reading anymore. No one has the patience for video that's beyond 30 seconds. So it's really, you have to fine tune your ability to communicate.
I sure do. So shifting gears here, and just talking about you and your journey as CMO at LG. How are you spending your time every day? What's the pie chart of your day look like, and what does success look for you in 2025?
So again, it's the we launch hundreds and hundreds of products every year, right? So a lot of what we do in the marketing is preparing for launch, working with our retail partners. We're getting ready. Content creation's a huge part. We've introduced a lot more brand activity these days. So it's a lot of what you would expect. I think there's always the organizational elements. We brought up before that it's going to be a big change to get to the point where we're moving from hardware to solution based. There's a lot of conversations or thoughts about how do I restructure my org to cater to be more solutions oriented. Right. A good example is when the older model, most of your communications are being done at a transactional point. Like I'm showing your product, selling your product. If we were going to be a solutions based company, we have to learn how to talk and communicate at not only transactional phase, but in the mid to late ownership phase.
Of course.
What am I saying to somebody who's owned a product for 5 years? I don't want to be
What's
saying
the customer journey?
Yeah. I don't want to be saying buy the next product. I mean, there'll be that hopefully at some point, but so that's
Life cycle marketing.
Yeah.
And obviously the first party data you're collecting on the consumer and how each consumer is different in terms of what they're looking for and the other portfolio products they have.
Yeah. And so, most most manufacturers in our industry are, there's a TV marketing guy and he's just focused on launching TV. And, so we've started to introduce more like an ownership experience team, right? So team dedicated to not just onboarding somebody with a product, but like helping them out, through the life cycle. That team has to be closely connected to customer service. The customer service integration into, with marketing is a huge topic right now for us. Like, how do we make sure we're speaking and because that's what the experience that somebody has with a customer service agent is going to have more impact on their view of the brand than 2 years of advertising, right? So how do we make sure that message and communication and that experience is positive? So there's a lot. The short answer is a lot of thinking beyond the daily grind is how to evolve into being more a solutions company. What does that mean organizationally? What does that mean communication-wise?
Yeah, a lot of change management and understanding where the future is headed.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, to wrap it up here, I'd love to know if there's a mantra that drives your professional journey that comes to mind.
Mantras. I mean, when we did we worked with TBWA on a brand manifesto. They had a line in one of the first videos that said "Dive in, smile first," and I just thought that was such a simple four-word articulation of really the brand essence. It's like I like to equate it to for sports fans out there, it's like being a relief pitcher with the game on the line and runners on base, and at that moment, being able to sort of like embrace it with a smile and
pressures and privileges. Say, right?
Exactly, and just not that it takes away from the moment, but being able to sort of step into that moment with a smile, with optimism and positivity that things will work out, and if not, we'll figure it out. So. Solution oriented is probably the main mantra.
Love that. Yeah. Well, wishing you nothing but optimism and positivity in 2025 for LG. Obviously, you're at the heart of a big transformation in the company, and I'll continue to watch from afar in terms of the work that you guys are doing. So really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. On behalf of Suzy and the Adweek team, thanks again to Louis Giagrande, the Chief Marketing Officer of LG Electronics North America, for joining us today here live at CES in Las Vegas. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review Speed of Culture podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Till next time, see you everyone. Take care. The Speed of Culture is brought to you by Suzy as part of the Adweek Podcast Network and A-Guest Creator Network. You can listen and subscribe to all Adweek's podcasts by visiting adweek.com/podcasts. To find out more about Suzy, head to Suzy.com. And make sure to search for The Speed of Culture in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Click follow so you don't miss out on any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Suzy, thanks for listening.